We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Captain Barbosa here. I've got all these wonderful gentlemen in the chat with me, and we're going to discuss stuff. Actually, John has the agenda here, so John, I'm going to let John take it away, and then everybody else is going to introduce themselves as we go along with this conversation. So go ahead, John. What do we got?
Thank you, Jason. What's up, guys? First off, hello. Thank you guys for tuning in today for the Hypefestation live show, episode 1. I saw someone mention they wish this was a weekly show. That's a possibility for the future, so keep that in mind. But generally speaking, what this is going to be, guys, is us just discussing everything going on in the Gears of War competitive realm. Settings discussion, which has been a hot topic. Team changes, player highlights. We're going to be doing a lot of things. With this being the first episode, this is kind of a trial run. Was originally just a way to reveal the quote-unquote settings to you guys. So that's what this is going to be. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce myself, and then we'll let everyone else introduce themselves as well. My name is Fallout. If you guys don't know me, you can follow me on Twitter at Fallout with 2 T's. Former Gears of War 1 and 2 professional player. Played Gears of War 3 with MBN at Hypefestation 2. Decided to no longer play, and now just kind of helping out with the role that's most needed, which is community involvement, trying to help out with Hypefestation sponsorships, and to make the tournament as great as possible with Barbosa, with Chubbs, and everyone else on staff. So that's me. You want to go in order? I'm not sure what the order looks like for you.
Chubbs, how you doing, Chubbs?
There it is.
Say hi to everybody. Well. Good to hear that. So, Chubbs, we're contributing tonight. What have you been up to? How's your recovery from hype?
Yeah. I don't know what recovery you're talking about. I am still sick from hype. You Gal players can't be trusted when it comes to these things. Like, it's like I get so sick every event. Everyone wants to touch me, dude.
You Gal players can't be trusted.
The hugs
of yours. It's the Brazzers, man. Like,
yeah.
If I had a porn star in front of me, I'd want to touch them too. Like, it's just natural.
Oh, it's a bit far.
I mean, I know I look kind of like Ron Jeremy, guys, but need to back off a little bit.
That's awesome. Right, Yogurt, you're next.
And next to him, we have one of the winners from Hypefestation, winner Brawl 8. How's it going, Yogurt?
Thanks. What's up, guys? This is Yogurt. Follow me on Twitter at YOGUR7, Yogurt with a 7. I was a Gal 2 GB Overlord, and I just started traveling for Gal 3, and, just started winning, recently.
That sounds so conceited.
Started winning. Just happened.
Just started winning, yeah.
And then underneath him, we're going to go over to the left there, and we got Jamie Rivera, a.k.a. Toy Soldier. He came in second place with his team Notorious. Jamie, thanks for joining us. And how you doing, and how's the recovery from hype?
Recovery from hype, it was awesome, great turnout of events. A lot of people are coming back, and that's awesome. And I'm playing with Notorious. It's me, Icy, Dispensa, and Phobia. And as you said, we play second. And follow me on Twitter. It's my gamer tag, Toy Soldier, and replace the O with an X in Soldier. But yeah, it was just great. I love hype.
Thank you, sir.
Cough, you
and then, last but not least, coming in long distance, we have Mike'sa, actually an Australian in the Gears of War scene. Mike'sa, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. As you mentioned, I'm an Australian player / caster / admin / a bit of everything, but I mean, true. It's good to be here. But Gears. That's what we're all here about, right?
Yes, Gears. And everybody's always fascinated. But what time is it over there? You're in the future. Gotta get that out of the way.
12:09 p.m. on the Thursday.
Okay, see, so he's coming to us from the future. With that said, Fallout, take it away again. You've got the agenda. Where do we begin tonight?
Awesome. So I know you guys want us to start, of course, the settings discussion is the biggest thing, but we'll get there. First, it's important to talk about some of the team changes that have been going on. So I wanted to highlight those, discuss, and make sure everyone knows what's happened, because people found out that Mavo was on Infinity and people went crazy. No one had any idea. So it's public now. It's official. Mavo is going to be playing with Infinity, and without further ado, let's discuss the Infinity team change. So, of course, Flames decided to quit the game and pursue school. He didn't really have the time to put into scrimming.
Which is good.
Yes, which is good. School first.
Yes, your life comes first, not video games.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So more power to him. Which is exciting news though, because that obviously left open a spot. And I think Infinity is the team that if they wanted anyone, and I wouldn't say anyone, but if they wanted almost anyone, they could get almost anyone. What do you think about that, especially the players, Toy Soldier and Yogurt?
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. They could probably have anyone they want. Then again, talk about myself. I think I could have anyone I want. Now imagine.
Oh, yeah?
The closest to Optic and Envy we can get, right?
Yeah, exactly. But no, for Infinity could. You know, you could. It's pretty prestigious to play on Infinity. Most
Yeah.
players, dream about it.
They've got some serious history with Gears of War. It's one of those just legacy teams. It's been there since the beginning. Why wouldn't you want to be on Infinity? You could put that on your resume,
Exactly. They're the most winning team in Gal, like Fatal said.
Yeah.
Definitely. What about, let me ask you guys this then. Do you think Mavo was the right choice?
Do
With
you want to do
the
that, Toy?
options, yeah.
With
no,
with the
that's fine.
options. Toy,
With
that's
the
all you.
options, I agree that like that was the best pickup as of right now because like Mavo's a great LAN player, and you know how Infinity is like
Online.
like no, he's not online, he's LAN.
Almost
I
good.
personally played him, and he was like a pain in the ass to kill, but yeah, like I was saying, I think he was the best decision. Um, like off his LAN experience, and like has Gears One history, and you know how Atmo has Gear One's history, and I feel like that like could come together in like Gears 3, and like they could really like do big things with the team they have now.
Definitely. And you know what's actually funny on that topic of Mavo being good on land? I'm not sure if you realize this, but during the tournament this weekend, we were doing a listen-in with you guys, and you got killed by Mavo, and you said, I swear, this kid's the best online about Mavo.
And I just do that out of anger.
I'm sure. I'm messing with you, though. So it's just a little ironic that you're talking about him being the best on land when just a day ago you said he's the best online. But I'm just messing with you, of
It's
course.
a little bit out of anger.
A little bit out of anger. So, it's interesting because I was able to have a couple conversations with Mavo about it, and I asked him, how are things going? Like, because the one thing I think is going to be not a challenge, not a struggle, but an adaptation is the fact that Mavo has always been the leader of his teams. He's always been the strat caller, like undisputed strat caller. But obviously, Atmo is actually a lot of people don't even know that, but Atmo is the one who really is the heart and soul, the leader of Infinity, and always has been, even when Terra was on the team. So I was kind of curious if there's going to be a leadership struggle between the two of them. From a player's perspective, guys, what do you think about that? Do you think there's one leader on a team, or do you think they could both contribute? Do you think that's going to be an issue?
I'm going first. I remember from his interview with Brutality, he was saying there's really there's no necessity to have that one leader if the team is completely in sync. So as the team grows together, yeah, there might be someone calling shots, but once they're fully synergized and everything's in sync, that leadership role
Synergized,
kind
what
of.
nice.
I was trying not to. I was so trying not to. But yeah, that was just the comment that he made in that interview with Brutality. Was that once everybody's in sync, that leadership role kind of dissolves.
That makes total sense. What do you guys, Toy Soldier? Do you guys agree with that? Yogurt?
John, are you
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, I'm coming
Yeah.
back. Don't worry.
I'll go Toy. Yeah, I agree 100%. On my team, me, Nasty, and Ben, we're the three people that we all put our heads together and we make our strats and we all call out
Noxious
plays.
does
So
nothing.
no, it's just been that way for a while because we've had many fourths and Noxious is kind of the new fourth. So he's starting to get into that, but it's always been me, Ben, and Jake. So I think it's like that on a lot of teams, and definitely in Gal 3 it's like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I think you can't deny that depending on personalities, obviously it's a situation it's situational, so every situation is different. There can be leadership clashes, and sometimes if you have two very aggressive, dominant personalities. And
Yeah,
Talk
exactly.
about MBN back in the day. I'm not sure if you guys watched this live stream or watched Nick, but talk about a leadership clash. But I think is with Infinity, I don't think that's going to be the case. You have a franchise, very calm, collected personalities as opposed to like the Nick Merckx shirt off, muscles bulging, raging at his teammates type of situation. With Infinity, it's a little bit different. So I think that's going to be the key.
I have to now that we're on the topic, I have to disagree. I have to be that guy.
I love it. That's what this is for.
Like I want to bring LOX as an example before Marvel left them. With Demo and Excels, there were two leaders, and I heard that I heard rumors. I don't I don't want to. I don't have facts right now. I don't want to put anybody out there.
Thank you for stating that.
Claire.
That's important.
Here's where rumors fly. Seriously, they're everywhere. So
Yeah, but with the problem with Demo and Excels, I heard that Excels would say one strat and the Demos disagree, and I just feel as if that could come between Mavo and Atmo. I mean, they could talk about it before the game, but I just I just think that they would disagree in some type of way. That's my opinion.
That makes sense. No, that's a true point. It is, that there is that like spree of the moment type of disagreeing where like right when a strat's being called, two people have two different perspectives, and then you have to decide quick, because obviously in a match it's a quick decision. So who gets the final say? I think you need that one person that has the final say, is the undisputed leader that kind of can say, okay, look, we have these two ideas, this is what we need to go with. And who's that going to be? Like, it's going to be tough to say. With when Terra was on the team, everyone thought, oh, Terra is such a great leader, he's leading Infinity to greatness. And Atmo used to get pretty heated and say, like, you guys are idiots. I actually am the one that does all of that. Because it's Atmo and he's very blunt.
Yes.
But yeah, so I wonder if that's going to stay the same. Fran is known, from personal experience in scrims to go at it with teammates. Not in a bad way, but if there's a disagreement, he's going to voice his opinion. So that'll be interesting. It will be. But I did talk to him, and what he did say on the matter was that he is kind of slowly but surely earning the respect of his teammates, which is something that has to happen naturally. But in that online tournament, they actually won the online tournament. If you guys didn't hear, that was the Road to Redemption tournament this weekend.
Oh yeah, I got DQ'd.
That did happen. We're not going to talk about that. We're just but, he was saying, that was their first time really playing together, and through the tournament, obviously they won. He slowly is starting to gain the respect of Atmo and the respect of his teammates, to the point where he was actually calling some strats here and there. And I asked him, I'm not sure if you guys were watching, but check out, they were going up against who was in the finals, the Glory slash
Throwdown.
Throwdown team. Yep, that was it. And they ran a 2-2 nades. And next thing you know, next round, Infinity countered them with the 2-2 nades, and it worked really well for them. They actually ended up winning checkout. I asked Fran, I said, who called that? Was it Atmo or you? And he said, that was me. So that was really surprising that he's calling strats already this early in the game, and the fact that it's working. Obviously, they won the tournament. So far, so good with this team. I can't expect anything to go wrong. So.
Yep.
But all right, Infinity we can discuss all day, because they're such an exciting team to talk about, exciting team to watch. They play much different than most teams. But let's move forward a little bit. Next up on the list here, I have LOX, red, black, green, purple, and magenta, because we can't even keep track of how many LOX teams there are now, but apparently there's like 3, something insane.
I'm gonna just start this real quick. When I did the registration for Hype Winter Brawl 8, it was something I always wanted to do, was create a team structure, and in the team structure there was a brand owner, there was a captain, and then there wasn't even a manager who didn't actually have to play on the team, but they kind of just like manage the finances and stuff like that. But I specifically put brand owner in there, so whoever was like signing up. So I know now that whoever the brand owner is, I consult that person to say, hey, this is your team name, they should not be using that team name, right? Like, so I kind of like was projecting that something like this might happen in the future. So I'll be able to kind of resolve these issues as they come up.
That's good. I wish you would have done that before the fact that the LOX copyright issue, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. What are the two rosters then? Do you guys want to update the community then? Chubbs, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. The one LX team right now, it is Excels, Karil's, Explosive, and Soto.
Okay, so let's talk about them first. That's an interesting team, right? Because that broke up a team, with Glory. So that is the LOX as we know them from the last Winter Brawl 8, but LOX goes back like way early Gears 2 days where Crypt.
Gears 2.
Oh, way back
PCL.
when. Yep. Yeah, it was Crypt. Who else was on the roster? Was it Secret originally? Or no?
I think it was Crypt.
Yeah,
Inertia.
Secret. I think.
I remember playing them back on the PCL. I'm positive Crypt was there. Like,
Yeah.
I could remember him yelling at me.
Of course. And here's what's interesting is like how that name survived. A lot of names have died over the years. High Council, High Caliber was one of ours back in the day, and somehow LOX crept its way through the history of Gears of War, and then bam, franchises on LOX. I'm like, wait, LOX exists, and how'd that happen? Now supposedly it's like one of the most sought after team names out there, with these two teams fighting over it, which is really funny. So the original LOX, the original members, it's Secret. They're another roster. What is that? The Secret 6 is 6 back to the game?
Yes, Secret, 6, Crypt, and they were playing with a guy at Hype 2 named Fusion.
I think they're playing with Inertia now.
Yeah, they're playing with Inertia now. That's their team.
Oh, Inertia's back.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of scary. Like, people don't give Inertia a lot of credit, but Gears 2, honestly, he was one of the most visually
really
scared
good.
in the game. He was amazing. How is he at Gears 3? Have you guys scrimmed against him yet?
Timmy's pretty good at Gears 3.
That's it.
I haven't played them.
I
Okay.
haven't played him recently, but back like Hype 1, Hype 2, I always thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, so that roster can contend. I'm excited to see what they can do because obviously Secret attended, I think it was Hype local battles with franchise, and he knows what the strats are like, what the meta game is like, and how the game is kind of evolving. So I think he can provide a good leadership for that team, and I think they'll make some noise. But the other LOX, I don't know what to call him. Let's call him LOX pink and purple. Krills is
Okay.
pink because I'm sure.
Yeah.
Krills-
right.
Oh gosh.
Girls can be pink.
Curl's got the sweaters though.
Perfect colors.
He got LOX sweaters.
Oh, does he? He has this. Okay, that changes.
Yeah. After hype, he was supposed to have them for hype, but then he got them after.
Oh yeah, he got them late.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty funny. I don't know if anyone saw it on Twitter, but Excel's got his in the mail. I think it was yesterday, and he said it kind of smelled a little funky.
Just I'm looking through my archives here with the sign up. The brand owner officially for locks for Winter Brawl 8 was Karil's.
Huh.
So that's whose name, and that's the person who signed up and
Yep.
put their name in there.
That makes sense, and I think what makes them more legit is the fact that they have sweaters.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I mean,
It's a joke.
I think the other LOX could get sweaters too if they wanted.
They could. Sweaters. Whoever gets sweaters. That's funny. But no, that's a scary team too. You know, Karil's and Excel is obviously top players in the game right now. But then you have Soto and Explosive, who Glory has not lost ever an online tournament. But now that they're meeting up with two great players, like if they can kind of, I'm interested to see who's going to fulfill the leadership role. I know Excel's is a mastermind when it comes to gears, but I'm interested to see how that team molds and develops. But individually, they're going to be amazing. And it's actually interesting. Franchise told me the problem with LOX, they were the best teamwork game in the game, but they didn't have the consistent individual skill to compete with the synergies with the Notorious, with Infinity. You know, obviously they outplaced Infinity, but now they do. They do have that individual skill.
Yeah. And I just to add on to that, I seen like Kuro's like he was tweeting out the other day saying that like, oh, I can't wait for this to work out, or like something among those lines. And I'm just like waiting to see like what's gonna go down.
Have you guys scrimmed them yet? Have they been practicing?
No, I haven't scrimmed them.
I have. Me
My
and
team
Yogurt have
hasn't
actually.
scrimmed like once since
Okay.
Winter
How they
Brawl.
looking?
So
Chubbs, how they looking?
They I guess they were beating us pretty bad, to be honest. Like they were looking good, but I mean, for the most part, Yogurt just got back on the game for like the first time ever. We invited him. We were like, because it was me, Kenny, Caution, and we were like, well, we have no one to scrim with right now, so how about we invite Yogurt, get the old SDA team back together. It's really quickly, and we just played them for fun. We were having a lot of fun while we were playing, but yeah, they're honestly looking really solid.
Gotcha. They'll be a contender for sure. So it's super exciting. You know, going into hype, it was like, sorry, no offense, Toy Soldier, but it was like the big three: Infinity,
No,
LOX,
it's fine.
and then Synergy. You
We
know, but
went into that thinking like we knew that was gonna go.
knew that was the case, which is good.
Yeah.
You be under the radar. No one expects you to do that. You know, so it's actually
Yeah.
good. But now we have like 6 or 7 teams that can legitimately contend for a top 2, top 3 placing, which is amazing for the game. You know, it makes it fun to watch. It's awesome.
I was really excited about that personally, because if I kept running events and the same thing kept happening at the events, people are just going to go away. You don't want to see that. So I like the guys on Infinity, but the fact that like a little bit of an upset happened really opens up the community and shows everyone that has been playing that's like, hey, look, we should do this because this is anybody's game. Oh, we lost our Australian.
Oh, not the Australian. That means we lose video.
Yeah, I know.
We'll get him back. It's probably a slight connection issue since he's a couple thousand miles away.
Yeah.
Let's
all
keep it
good.
rolling though. Oh, you're back. What's up, Mike? Welcome back.
Yeah.
Here we go. Put the videos. Oh, we have videos. We're back.
It's
We're good.
coming. It's coming.
Perfect. Cool. We're good to go. So just to keep it rolling, you know, those are the
Wait,
three we wanted to discuss.
before we go,
Yeah, go for it.
I want to ask Mike though, because he's from Australia, and I want to see if like the reputations kind of float over there, and do the reputations and like, do you guys wish that you could play some of the guys over here, or is your scene pretty self-contained over there?
Basically, like we know most of the top teams over there, and we do want to go over there and compete one day, but we can't do it online, obviously, too much lag.
Yeah.
But we know most of the. I know, like sometimes even when we're watching hype, we're in Skype calls, we're talking about it, we're going hyper about some of the players. Haven't we know some of the players? The players that have been playing for a while and stuff like that. In our scene, we got sort of a similar thing to what you said about the same sort of team taking it out. We actually have one team, Legacy. They basically won nearly every single event in Gears of War 3. The only time some players of Legacy lost were to another team of Legacy.
Oh,
where they split up into two and then
Interesting.
they duked it out and went to the final map of the grand final.
that's amazing.
Yep, and that's actually found that hilarious that you guys had a legacy. Obviously, back in the day, we had a legacy, but our legacy doesn't exist anymore. So finally, there's one legacy that's Australia, which is good. But I actually went and I commentated one of those tournaments back right after Hype 2 in 2012, and I was really interested to see like our Atmo. You know, we have all these players that are like the best player in the game. That, you know, in Australia, of course, obviously you're going to have the best players in the game too, and it'd be interesting to kind of put those together and see, you know, it'd be a clash and see how things fare out, you know, when the dust settles, who would end up on top. And, you know, obviously when Europe came over, Apex came over, they didn't do too hot. But I think watching you guys play, you guys seemed very skilled individually. It'd be fun to see that clash.
I would love to see that. I'd pay to see that.
It would
Yeah,
be
people
interesting,
take us
but
serious.
the thing I notice is the American scene and even the Europe scene as well. They actually play a lot more aggressive, and in our scene we play more conservatively. So there is a couple of players that do play aggressive, but that's like 1 to 2 teams worth, which are our top teams as well. But they it's sort of different game styles that you really can't even tell who would take it out unless they actually meet.
That makes sense. Let me ask you right now. I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is the Atmo of Australia and Gears of War?
Depends on what you're categorizing it by, I guess. Like it's really Gears over here hasn't really been played in a while
Yeah.
properly, so you can't like our best players sort of stopped playing. If they come back now, they still wouldn't be as good because they're still rusty and all that. So going from back in our scene, I think our number one, like we had sort of like a personal choice awards thing from the community, so I can give you that one. Dave from Telstra came first in that one. Best player, has got the smarts, has got the shot on point, but you also got other categories like the shotguns, just smarts, just movement. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually remember Dave from Telstra. He was a boss. He was like awesome at the game. What was that guy's name? It was like Happy Orange or something like that.
Aesthetic
Or-
Mango?
Fake Mango. No, maybe it wasn't Fake Mango.
Aesthetic Mango. I'm pretty sure you went
Aesthetic
off at
Mango.
that.
That was it.
Yeah.
Aesthetic Mango. Yep, that's my favorite guy in the entire world. It's official.
Yep.
His name is Aesthetic Mango. So, anyways, that's it for Gears of War Australia. Just wanted to get that perspective. It's really cool, and hopefully, I've been talking with Mike, and we've been having conversations about somehow if we can possibly unite the communities. Because moving forward, guys, and we're going to talk a lot about community, what we need to do as a community. But it's really important that we're all on the same page. Right now, European scene is playing Gears of War 1. Really like breaks my heart because I wish we were all kind of unified and playing the same game so we can become one big Gears community as opposed to 3 different continents playing the game in different
Yeah.
ways. So, yep, that's a discussion for another day though. To wrap up team changes, a couple teams that have emerged. Chubbs tweeted this out, which is really exciting. Vision is back with the roster of Eternity, Wingos, Supremos from Bully, and then Sleepy Time from Bully. Keep an eye out on them. Bully was a great team, and then Eternity obviously has been playing. Wingos, I think, is just coming back, but it'll just be a matter of time until he gets it. That's a big one. And then VXC is back, a Gears of War 2 semi-pro team. VXC Gambler and Sub-Zero both came back to the game, and they picked up Casp and Dreadshots, another notable team. For the Bread, I'm not sure what's happening with Rain, J Mercs, and Vish and all of them. We'll see what happens there. And then a couple notable free agents just off the top of my head. Mephisto is back and looking around, so he's going to make some noise. Chanel's is considering it and looking around if he can get a team. So definitely some free agents that are coming back that are looking to kind of form something, and it's interesting to see how that plays out. But moving forward, next topic, guys, is going to be the next Hypefestation location. So we've had crazy voting and battles of East Coast versus Midwest versus West Coast. The East Coast players say all the tournaments should be on the East Coast, and the West Coast players are really upset about that. And, it's a huge discussion that is to be had. And I want to talk about that. And, of course, the way I want to lead it is with Jason, who I think is most passionate about that.
Okay, so I'll just open with yes. I was telling Ryan Summers, aka Ryan Fools. We always have these stupid arguments online. I was telling him that here in the Northeast, there's a lot of concrete. There's a lot of roads. There's a lot of buildings. Not really places to enjoy the outdoors and the warm, sunny weather that they have in California and on the West Coast. So we're kind of miserable playing video games because it just kind of sucks to go outside. But getting away from that, we do have a lot of events here on the East Coast. We can kind of thank Rod Lane for that because he's just always had events for gamers over the course of almost a decade now. So there's a strong scene out here, whereas in the West Coast they have all the game developers and stuff, but they haven't really developed a competitive or just a gathering of gamers kind of scene. So I'm trying to help SoCal develop that because I know there's a lot of gamers in Southern California, and that's always a decent hub to do media stuff anyway because of Los Angeles. But we're going to have to grow off the East Coast. And for the East Coast players that are so happy just getting on a bus or a train and just getting to their venue, like, get a job, save some money. I'm just saying, like, at the beginning, I'm looking towards the beginning of May. I'll say that. There's rumors still happening, like, where am I going to do this? I am really seriously looking to the beginning of May because I want to do it before the college kids have their finals. You know, I don't want you scrimming and studying at the same time. I want you to, like, do hype and then go study. Like that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, so I'm looking for the beginning of May and not on the East Coast. So save your money, save some travel money, some hotel money because chances are it's not going to be on the East Coast.
Yeah, and to touch on that, it's interesting, and I respect this, but a lot of West Coast players, people like Poseidon, Letnick all the way down in Denver, they say every event, they also agree every event should be on the East Coast because they think that's what's best for the community. And it's interesting that they say that, of course, being from the West Coast, the fact that they have to pay for a plane ticket every time. But I wanted to kind of discuss that a little bit, the East Coast versus West Coast thing. Yes, I'm from Chicago, Midwest, but, here's the shirt, check it out. But, all bias aside, the fact that I'm from here, I'm honestly only here for what's best for the community, obviously. I'm putting a lot of individual time just like everyone else is. So I have no personal motives or ambitions or agendas. But that being said, do you guys honestly think there's something in the water that made East Coast players play Gears of War more than West Coast and Midwest players? That if you were to look at a map that said let's geographically disperse this, who bought more Gears of War copies, that East Coast would be insane and no one in the West Coast bought Gears of War games. And the community is yes, they're more abundant, but I want to talk about why that is. It's not just something that naturally happened because there's something in the water, like I mentioned. The reason is East Coast has always had NJ Halo. East Coast has always had major events. The first MLG was always held on the East Coast. And all of these things over time help to develop the community on the East Coast. So now the community on the East Coast is bigger. You can't dispute that.
It's also part of another good word there, Fallout, is culture. It's like
Yep.
we expect events. It's in
Exactly.
the culture of the area to expect an event coming up. And we're never like, oh, gee, guys, when are we going to play next? So go ahead.
Exactly.
Go ahead, John.
That is spot on. And the thing is, guys, if we're right now, what we're doing is for the future of Gears of War. It's not for right now. Let's be honest, and it's sad to say, but the ship has sailed. We really missed the prime of Gears of War 3, and we're never going to reach that in Gears 3. We have to be realistic. So we're not doing things to make the game huge right now and to make us all celebrities and to make money and to become famous. That was the intention way back when for some people, whatever. But now it's not that. Now it's setting ourselves up for the future. Setting ourselves up for when Gears of War 4 or whatever it's going to be called does come out, it can be the biggest possible game that we could ever imagine. So with that setup, if we continue following this East Coast, East Coast, Beast Coast path where all we do is East Coast events and, continue to grow that community, okay, great. The Midwest community is going to shrink and it's going to, the West Coast community is going to be even smaller than it is. We need to develop the Midwest and the West Coast communities the same way we develop the East Coast communities. So when Gears 4 does come out, we can have a large, united, North America Gears of War community as opposed to okay, East Coast and that's it. We need to slowly step out of that, and that's a bad echo, Chubbs. Not sure if you can mute it. Okay, it's better now. Cool. We need to slowly step away from that East Coast, mentality and slowly develop the communities in the Midwest and the West Coast. And it's going to suck. At first it's going to be tough. Obviously we're going to have to adjust, but trust me guys, long term it is going to be it's going to benefit, and we're going to reap the benefits when Gears of War 4 comes out. So that's my opinion. What do you guys, Jason is obviously very vocal. Everyone else here, Toy Soldier, you're from the East Coast. Yogurt, we had this discussion. Ohio, kind of East Coast, kind of Midwest. What do you guys think?
Anybody want to touch on that?
God.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Everyone's like, oh God, they're aiming a gun at me. The Chad's going to kill me.
No, it's fine. I'll go. What I'm planning, I'm hearing this now, and it's not gonna be East Coast. This most likely gonna be somewhere else. For what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save the hype winnings I got from second place and get a plane, get a ticket or something off of that. And also, I already talked to my parents just in case it isn't East Coast or anything. They said, oh yeah, we're willing to go out and spend the weekend somewhere else, because we're bored sitting at home. So for me, that's not a big problem.
That makes sense. And here's another thing I want to just silence this before people are saying, so wait, is the next event West Coast? No, that's not what we're saying by any means.
Yes.
We're not going to be that drastic. I said slow baby steps to develop
Exactly.
communities. I'm not saying we're going to completely jump ship and go to the West Coast. No, that is not the plan. And but you can easily find a happy medium. Like, it's not fair that this, yes, it's a small community. People say West Coast will be a smaller turnout. Yes, that is true. That's why we're not going to go all the way to the West Coast. It's going to be it's baby steps. Gradually, we're meet in the middle, and if that's any sort of hint towards anything, and that's the plan. Essentially. So just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in and say I'm not going to do anything stupid. I've been doing this for quite some time now. I worked for IPL, IGN. I know what everything that they considered. I've been following MLG and their business model for quite some time. For instance, like things that I have looked at. This is what I have looked at. Okay, Hypefestation 3 was supposed to be in North Carolina, right next to Epic Studios, because that would have been awesome. But I'm not going to do that because, well, it's not Epic's game anymore. So it really doesn't matter if we do that or not. But other avenues of commerce like Ohio, Columbus, MLG's there. There's a scene. Again, it's part of the culture in Columbus, Ohio, that they have gaming events. So, and people have experience going to Columbus, Ohio. So that is like something, I'm just giving you guys something to consider. Like, this is the thought process. Like, there's obviously some game culture in Columbus, Ohio. There's some game culture in Chicago. There's some game culture. There's actually a lot of game culture in Texas, believe it or not. They have the ESCA down in Texas all the time. That's in Dallas. And then, South by Southwest is in Austin, and there's some game studios down there too. So these are things that I look at. I'm trying to see if I have to ship equipment, if I could find a venue that has equipment there and that I could rent and borrow and stuff like that. So don't think definitely not the West Coast for the next event. But I'm giving you guys like a hint as to like the thought process and what I'm actually looking at. Can't announce anything yet because I'm still talking to lots of venues, but that's kind of what I'm considering going forward.
Spot on. And I, same, kind of, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, but on that topic too, like, I want to go back to the thought of, okay, in terms of geographically, if you were to break it down and see who bought Gears of War copies where, whatever, you look at just simple populations, and, Texas has a huge population, Ohio has one of the biggest population, and like these states are buying the game. The game needs to be developed, as was mentioned. And once again, don't want to be a dead horse, but that's kind of slowly what the thought process is to set us up for the future. And then Jason also hinted at it too. Guys, like, we're not idiots, like, try and have some faith in us. Obviously respect the fact that Jason has thrown 2, maybe 3 great hype events already that have been phenomenal, and you guys have loved them. Trust the fact that, like, we have proven ourselves as a Hypefestation. We're not going to do something crazy and, kill the game right now when we have all this momentum. Yeah. Everything that we're doing is to build momentum and to grow, not the opposite.
Like, for instance, I posted this the other day. I don't know if the East Coast saw it, but I'm helping, and this is just one of those like grassroots movements. But there's a LAN center in SoCal that I've actually went to. GearsCon had an event there. Their Cities of Gears thing is the DICE LAN Frag Center, and I put up a thing like, Hype is going to associate that LAN center's 2v2. I know gamers in the area. They're going to go there. They're going to admin a 2v2. We've got some settings for them. We're going to kind of intermingle. I'm going to make sure that they're set with Hype graphics and all that stuff. But it's one of those things like, is it worth getting together for a LAN? Or like, does Hype need to really be a part of it for it to grow? I mean, I'm gonna push it now with that little association, but that's things that I'm doing to strengthen different parts of the country. Is throw out those associations. And if you guys know a LAN center, if you're really good friends with like some LAN owner and they've got Xboxes, tell them to call me and I can help them set something up and get them all that Gears of War attention that they need.
Spot on. And the reason we're hosting another tournament, obviously, a lot of Summer Jam 8 conversation has been had. Big E actually posted on our Facebook page today saying he wants to officially invite Gears of War back to Summer Jam. But the thing is, Summer Jam isn't until August, guys. So we have all this momentum right now. If we don't host an event with, that's like a 5-month period, the game is going to die again. The same thing's going to happen. History is going to repeat itself. So we're giving you guys more opportunities to play. And I want to say this now, okay? I, as well, obviously, Jason, Chubbs, Waldo, Venom, the entire Hypefestation quote-unquote staff. We don't really like to be public about who's helping out because we're not about us by any means. But trust me when I say we are doing everything that we can. I personally will do everything that I can, and I'm making the statement now, to get as much of a prize pool at this next event as possible. I have set goals. These are obviously just goals, but when I set a goal, I'm gonna achieve it. I've set a goal of over $10,000 for the prize pool for the next event, and I will make that happen. I will do whatever in my power to make that happen. So that being said, the incentive is there, the money is there, and obviously I know how it is. When Hypefestation Winter Brawl 8 was announced, I was planning on playing, and then Jason said, "Oh, the prize pool is 1,500 or whatever it was," and I said, "I can't do that. There's no way that I can invest all this time, money to fly out just to go. Even if I win the tournament, I'm still in the red. So that's not a hit against you, Jason, by any means, but just a general statement that I understand from a player's perspective. Like, we're not doing it for the money. None of us are doing it for the money, but there needs to be that incentive to fly out, and there will be that incentive. I promise that."
It was supposed to be a regional. Like, honestly, that was going to be my retirement regional LAN. Like, all right, guys, just drive over. Let's play Gears one more time, and see what the next generation does. All of a sudden, Microsoft does that announcement. Hey, we just bought Gears of War. We're probably going to make 3 more games, guys. And, like, my phone went crazy that morning. Like, I woke up because my phone was going nuts. And so what turned into, like, I thought 8 to 12 team interest turned into 20. So that's just, we'll work on that prize pool. I know it's important. I know it's important.
And that was 20 teams for what was supposed to be a regional tournament with no hype whatsoever, with no marketing whatsoever.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee that next tournament, we're shooting for 32 teams. I think it won't be a problem with how many people are coming back, how many teams are scrimming. Shout out to everyone that's tweeting me every day, turning my Twitter feed into like a scrim finder, asking me to retweet for scrims and free agents and things going on. There are so many people that are interested in this game again, which is great. They're all saying they're going to, which is awesome. So with the 32 teams, with the reputation that we built from Hype Winter Brawl 8, with the fact that we have a stronger staff, a lot more people on board, more manpower. Before it was really, Jason started doing it by himself. He has some help now. This next event will be huge, without a doubt. That's a personal promise for me and Jason and anyone involved. Chubbs, anyone involved.
I can't travel, so.
Well, you can, behind the computer, you can help. Well, you don't have a computer, so never mind.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, man.
I don't either. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, him and Yogurt. We were going to do a Google Hangouts because it's so much more professional, but we couldn't because they don't have a computer, so we had to do it on Xbox, Skype, or something. So that was funny, but inside jokes. That being said, done with that discussion. Moving forward, last but not least, the topic of settings, which of course you guys have been waiting patiently for, to talk about it, to hear about it, to see the big quote-unquote reveal and what that's going to be. That being said, I am about to post a link in the chat to what is the soft...
Oh, God.
Yeah, here we go. Everyone's about to blow up. Before I post it, I'll discuss, but I'm about to post what is the soft reveal of... I wouldn't say soft reveal is a bad way to put it. It's a soft push. It's nothing major by any means because I realize personally that not a lot needs to be changed, and I agree with that. And I'll explain everything before I post it, but I'm about to post that for you guys. It's a Google Doc, so you guys can all see it. But that being said, on the topic of settings, let's discuss that real quick. And I'll start, and I want to get Jason's opinion, some player opinions as well, and see if you guys are on board. But on the topic of settings, guys, like here is what's going on. People think that like I came in and I said, this game sucks. I need to change everything, and I need to rule the world, and I'm gonna, look. No, that didn't happen at all. Like what happened was at Hypefestation, after the fact, we had a players meeting, a staff meeting. There was about 10 to 15 of us in a room, literally sitting goose-legged in a circle. We played Duck Duck Goose. I'm not even kidding, and we discussed the tournament settings, everything. At that point, it was decided that it needs to be at least looked into, the topic of settings, at least thought about, for a multitude of reasons. And let me share those reasons real quick so you guys understand. Please realize, like, I have no hidden agenda, no personal ambitions, nothing. This is just, once again, for the better of the community. So here we go. First reason, guys, the game types are great. I love them. If it was up to me, I would keep them how they are. But the thing you guys have to realize is we are going to be playing Gears of War 3 for another year and a half. Logic can tell you Gears of War 4, the next-gen Gears, whatever you want to call it, is going to drop fall of 2015. It's too soon to drop this fall, and the game is going to drop in the fall. They're not going to make the same mistake that Judgment made.
Can I just jump in here?
Sure,
John?
go ahead.
Year and a half, I believe, is a lot because we're going to run into the holiday season if we do a year and a half, and there's going to be all sorts of new games, and like there's going to be Destiny and what's that Contagion game from Ubisoft? I always forget it. But there's,
Titanfall is that,
yeah, there's gonna be like a lot of things that
Division.
people want to play. So like, we got a year, and I think we're gonna then start really competing with like the next gen games coming out. But let's take advantage of this year while we got it, because we know Titanfall is kind of falling flat on its face with competitive. It's meant to be like that casual fun thing that you get in the lobby, play with your friends. Nothing really comes serious of it. So we're gonna start competing with next gen games. So you gotta
keep that in mind.
understand that. Yeah.
That's a great point. So back to what I was saying, a year and a half, guys, until the next Gears of War 4 is probably going to release fall of 2015. Common sense could tell you that. So if we played the same 7, what happened?
Sorry, that screwed something up.
Oh, are we live still?
Yeah, we're good. You guys are good.
Okay.
You good.
If we played the same 7 game types for the next year and a half, we have online tournaments. Every weekend is an online tournament now, if you guys have noticed. If we stream these online tournaments, if we had these hype lands, the same 7 game types over and over again for a year and a half, eventually, guys, that's not possible. People are going to get bored of watching it. People are going to get bored of playing it. I agree. It is the most competitive at a core, and I do agree with that entirely. But the thing is, why not explore things now when we have a 2-month break before the next tournament, as opposed to exploring things in 8 months when it might be too late at that point. The game might be dead again. So right now is a chance where we can. This is quote unquote the revival, the rebirth, whatever. It doesn't hurt to look at things, to test things. That is kind of the main mentality and the thought process with this. Obviously the game types are great, but it never hurts to be rational, to test things out, see how it goes. If it doesn't work, we're not going to, this isn't me saying we're going to have 3 new game types by the end of the month. If they are all horrible and don't work, guys, I played this game for 6 years at the top level of the game. I understand from a player's perspective. So I just wish you could have a little bit of faith in me as a player, as a person. I'm not in it for the wrong reasons. If it's not going to work, I'm not going to force it. And that is the thought process behind it. Guys, having a best of 5 games, that's 5 of the 7 maps already. We're recycling the same maps over and over and over again. At a Hypestation, as a commentator, it got really repetitive, and that was one tournament. That was the first tournament. Imagine in 8 months, 8 months from now, what it's going to be like.
All right, so let me interject here, and I'm actually going to ask Mike's to talk about the Australian scene, because they have 11 maps, and I just kind of want his experience on how that works out in the Australian scene, and what they did. They include DLC. So could you tell us a little bit about that, Mike?
Yeah, originally we started our rotation, just going a bit backtracking for our history of our rotations. Gears of War 3 started, we started doing weapon swaps straight away. And then we were like, okay, everyone's like default. So then we swapped to default. Then we started following hype for a bit. And then we sort of stopped by the time you guys started dropping maps. And we just had 11 maps on our rotation. We do Cove, we do Slab. We also do Execution, Checkout, Clock Tower, Cove, Dry Dock, Hotel, Old Town, Thrashball. And then King, we have Dry Dock. We have Slab, Rustlung, and Trenches. So that's our 11 maps. It's good for continuation series. So best of 11s, they go all the way down to that final map. We don't need to redo the same map game type. We've tried heaps of different ones in the past. We've done rule set, testing and stuff like that. And those maps seem to work. You can drop a couple if you want to just clamp down on that rule set. But the maps itself used, they can be used on LAN if people bring their gamer tags and even their own DLC if they want to make it easier for themselves. And on a USB stick, and then it just works perfect. That's how we did it on LAN and online, and it seemed to work for us. Players seem to like those maps. Personally, Slab was one of my favorite maps for King. So
yeah, it was great. They made a couple changes, I heard, that kind of messed things up a little bit. I haven't played it yet, so I wouldn't know. Yeah. So that's another perspective. 11 game types, guys, which, that's how Halo was back in the day. They had 11 plus. That's how it was at Hype 2. We had 11 game types. And not only that, but having a couple more execution maps, what does that do? We have 4 execution maps. I never thought in my life I would say Gears of War has 4 execution maps. Captains of teams, you have 4 maps where you get to create strategies, trick strats, adapt, evolve, etc. 4. That's it. That is, there should be more opportunity for players to really shine, for strategies to shine. There should be more that goes into it than just constantly grinding the same 7 maps over and over and over again until you're sick of them. And so just, not only that, but on top of that, people say we've had these settings for a year. They work. Let's keep them. I agree. Why fix something that can't change? But keep in mind as well, ink grenades, I mentioned this a little bit. Ink grenades did change a little bit about the game. And then 2, the meta game, Gears of War isn't different than any other game. There is a meta game. I don't know if you guys realize the game is played entirely different now than it was played at Hype Station 2. I went back and watched YouTube VOD. The game is played entirely different now than it was played at Hype local battles. Like, the game has changed and evolved, and it'd be ignorant to say, hey, let's just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Nothing has changed. It'd be ignorant to not at least try it out, and that's the
So,
perspective.
how about this? How about I tell you this, John, and everybody listening? I'm going to experiment with Joe, because Joe and I can set up mini LANs, no problem. And what we're going to do is, Mike, with your recommendation, with like putting everything on the USB key, we're going to see if we have to make that a standard, like come to the LAN, bring your gamer tag on a USB key with all your Gears of War DLC. If that'll actually work and people can listen and bring those USB keys, we're going to test it and see how easy or difficult that is. And then maybe we could actually see some DLC maps, not by the next event, but like maybe by August, we can safely put something in there that we like on DLC. But definitely not the next one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Next one has to be all disc.
Yeah, yeah. And then, without further ado, I'm going to post the settings, guys. And once again, to avoid the community raging, and I want you guys to realize I've taken a lot of flack already, which kind of saddens me. People I've been like really close friends with for years have been like at my throat. So once again, please, like, constructive feedback is great. All that is great, and realize I'm not doing it because I want to take over by any means. I'm doing it because it's kind of what we need as a community, what we need as a game moving forward. So, about to post in the chat right now. Take a look, and the link was deleted. I don't have mod status yet. So I can't post it. So,
Let me put it up
very
there.
anticlimactic.
Okay, now you're good. You're good now. You're good.
Awesome. Still have a deleted link, and I still don't have mod.
You gotta
I'll
give
post
it
it in
10
there.
seconds. It takes
Gotta
10
give it 10
seconds.
I
Wait till
want-
you see the little clocks. Yeah.
Nope, still not mod.
Just
Hold on.
wait till you see the clocks. Mike's to put it up already. He's got you. He's got you, bro.
There you go. Mike's did it. I
And
clicked
then
Mike's
you got to make it public too. I don't know if you know how to do Google Docs, but you got to make it
It's already
public. Okay.
It's already public. Yeah, it should be good to go. So open that link, guys. You guys will see what the maps are. Literally all that was added. It wasn't much. This was kind of a soft rollout to avoid people freaking out. Was a testing of gridlock execution, which a lot of people think is viable now without the ink stuns. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And then trenches execution. Trenches being one of the few symmetrical maps of the game. After discussing in a Skype chat with a lot of people, players, representative from every top team, it was decided to add trenches execution for now with specific swaps. So check out those swaps, guys. Obviously, trenches was added before. It was horrible because it was super campy, and teams would go down low.
Yeah.
Another team would go up top, and then it'd be a battle of like elevation, and it'd be super campy. But there's no weapon down low, no longer a digger down there. Everything is up top. There's incentive to fight up top, and the reasoning behind execution trenches is that the fight up at the 50-50, which is that little window, is a great fight. Like, that 2 versus 2 fight is one of the best fights in the game. Obviously the elements of cover, of smoke, of strategy. That's a great fight up there. On top of that, the angles, you can obviously set a guy to ink, and you can cross to where the boom shot is going to spawn. There's going to be a boom shot at nades, which is going to be difficult to grab because of the angles and the crossing. On top of that, you have the down low area where the frag grenades currently spawn. You could have a lot of strategies, flanks up the bunny hills. You could do a lot of different things. So it allows for a lot of strategy. It allows for trick strats. It allows for variation, counter strats, and with the boom shot on the map at that location, I don't think it's going to be campy. It shouldn't be campy at all.
Also, I'd like to add that, and this is for all the maps in general. I'm going to just say it, like, Gears of War 3 now is our game. The casual competitive community is not going to stumble upon Gears of War. Like, we were always trying to do defaults when the game first came out so we can get new audience. That was the point. Like, let's try default because we want people not to be disoriented when they come to compete. But now we have an old game. The people that are competing are here. We literally have to pull people to the game in order for them to compete. So it's our game. We're not afraid of doing swaps anymore. If swaps need to be done to make the game faster and less campy, we're going to test that. So just throwing that out there. It's our game now.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that is a spot-on point. We're no longer in the era of we need to do default swaps. We need a mulcher on this map. We need mortars. We need one-shots. We can actually do what we want with the game and with the settings, which is exciting. So that being said, once again, this is the Hypefestation Test T1.0 settings. That means nothing is even close to official. We're going to be having probably once every week, maybe twice a week, sessions. I guess we'll call them sessions, where it's just hardcore testing of new game types and new ideas to throw out there. We'll do that via pickup scrims. We'll do that via full team versus full team scrims. We'll get feedback from all the players. This is going to be a process. This is kind of the beginning of that process. Just 2 maps is a soft rollout. So that being said, add this to your cycle, guys. Try them out. If it is horrible, tell me. Hit me up. Don't tweet me, guys. You can't explain an argument in 140 characters. You just look really like not immature, but immature basically. So
Hey,
if you
John, I'm going to
Yeah.
give you a Hypestation email account. How about that?
that would be awesome. That's
Okay,
all-
we'll take care of that after this show.
Perfect.
Okay.
That'll be an official way of communicating with me. I'm very accessible via Skype as well. And it's not just going to be like I'm not going to make any decisions ever, just me at all. So keep that in mind. He's lying. That's all I have to say about that. Toy Soldier, Yogurt, Chubbs, from a player perspective, what do you guys think?
About the swaps.
About general settings changing, swaps, anything?
Well, as Barbosa put it, like in the beginning, we really kind of listened to everyone to kind of like, because the game was so new, we kind of kept everything as default as possible. I think people should be more open to at least trying it once and seeing what you think is the problem with the map, and then bringing it to, the hype staff's attention. Mostly John, because this is his idea. But
What?
I was joking. I'm joking.
It was a joke. Okay. Glad that's official.
I'm saying, like, be open. At least try it once. Don't say, like, hey, I hate that shit. I'm not trying it. Because that's just really ignorant. Like, at least try it once. Then you can say you hate it and that you hate us. Okay? That's how I feel.
Toy and Yogurt?
Yeah, I agree. Try it at least. Be open-minded about it. Don't just make an opinion right away. At least give it a chance.
To add that on, like everybody else was saying, I agree. Like, just try it out. Like as everybody else was saying, try it out.
I mean,
That makes
just
sense.
to add to that,
Yeah,
I mean,
go for it.
instead of just trying it out and just saying, oh, okay, it's good or bad, just provide feedback. Just go, okay, yeah, it's good. Give a reason why. Yeah, it's bad. Give a reason why. Yeah, okay, it could be good, but let's do this, this, and this. See if it can make it work. I mean, we did that over here. We ended up doing, a couple of swaps to test out that players were like, that looks weird. And it ended up working. Didn't end up going through because it was just that weird. But like, it's still something to try out, and it gives you heaps of different, like, even on one map, you can just do different combinations of weapon swaps and changes and stuff that you keep testing for a little bit longer.
I do want to point out there was a lot of, I'm just going to say, bitching about King of the Hill trenches. About that being like you get the first 2 hills, and I know there's some randomness with the hills, but we saw some super close
Yeah,
matches.
I was gonna
Like
say
that just
that.
showed like that high level play on King of the Hill got some super close matches. So you got to just learn the maps, because if those teams can cutthroat each other that well on a map that everyone was kind of bitching about, it's like, learn it. Just learn it, because there were some amazing games on King of the Hill trenches that were within 10 points of each other.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It was fun. It was fun from a commentator role. It was fun to watch, fun to commentate. From a viewer's perspective, everyone loved it in the chat. People were going crazy. The one thing that I'm missing, and I tweeted this out trying to get some feedback, and I didn't get the most feedback, from a player's perspective at the tournament, I would like to know how you guys liked King of the Hill trenches overall as a game type.
It was fun. It was really fun. Like, just like being like, there's either Lancer fire, there's either like 1v1 like fights, like for example Nade Hill. Like that's where it like gets all crazy and intense. Like you can't just be lancering in that like position, even if like you're down or like it's a close game. And I just think like it's a pretty open map. Like if you're hiding in Barb, you can only sit at one spot. And if you're like in Crane, like under the Crane, if they have top, you could cross from there. So then they have to like, you have to push Crane. If anything, if you're getting cross, like it's a lot of strategy and a lot of like Lancer and shotgun. It's not like unbalanced. So I think it's like a really good map. And I don't know why people are like saying bad things about it.
Yep.
I like hearing
Yeah,
that
I agree.
perspective.
Definitely. And any other players out there, people that have played the game for a while and think they have a valuable opinion, people like Wingos and some of these old veterans. If you guys have opinions about King of the Hill trenches, about anything, let me know. And I want to point something out. We rolled out some just ideas, and Caution took initiative and went and tested these out and started running scrims and pickup scrims, whatever. And he gave me some awesome. He took me aside and gave me some awesome feedback, and that's kind of how I derived what we have right now, I guess. But there was only like 1 or 2 people, so I really need all of you guys, the amateur players, the pro players, veterans, everyone to try these out, give feedback. Kind of beating a dead horse at this point, but that's pretty much all that can be said about these. And we'll be rolling out some different ideas moving forward.
Also, letting you know, I kind of want to make these shows an hour, but since there wasn't a lot of people here at the beginning, I don't mind going about like 10, 15 minutes over.
Yeah.
I have the stream rig back. I still have to set up a whole bunch of things. I left one of my big boxes of stream gear at Crudy's house, so I'm going to have to go get that. But I will be doing free agent showcases. I will be doing feature scrims, and I will also be doing test settings. So we're going to have a good time testing random crap, just go for it. And some people will have fun with it. But if you want to be part of one of those nights, I'll have a little sign up for it.
This is on land, right, Jason?
No, this is online.
Online, okay.
I was just gonna do it online, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna be doing that personally on the Hype channel, so you guys have something to watch and look forward to, and also test and share your input.
Definitely. And then we will also have the official quote-unquote Hypefestation test days or test sessions where we're just grinding new game types and new ideas out. Going to need community members to obviously step up and be involved, pro players, teams as well, when those dates are announced and when that happens as well. So, awesome. Settings. That's it. Once again, guys, please, if you have feedback at all, keep it civil. Right now, what we need most is unity and positivity, and Fatal Strike has been doing a great job emphasizing that via his commentating, which is awesome. But us bitching at each other and then going on Xbox Live and venting and complaining about Barbosa did this, Fallout did that, Chubbs did this, whatever, that's not going to help in any way, shape, or form. Instead, be a man about it. Let us know, and we can hopefully have a one-on-one conversation moving forward. So. Okay, that's it for settings. We're actually just wrapping up the show. I know a lot of you guys missed the beginning, so you missed the conversation about quote-unquote where the next hype is going to be. You missed the conversation about team changes, so we'll kind of do a recap and how that's going to be in the shape of state of the Gears of War community from the perspective of everyone that is on the show this week. So I'll kick it off, and then we'll go in order as we did the same introductions. We'll go Jason, then Chubbs, Yogurt, Toy Soldier, wrap it up with Australia, who's going to give a perspective on the Australian scene to kick it off, or to finish it off. So actually, I'll go last because I've been talking too much, and I'll let you guys talk first, and I'll finish it up. So
I would actually give it
Jason.
to one of the players, too. Can I go second to last, maybe?
That's fine. Chubbs first.
Okay, so me first.
Yep.
All right. Well, here's what I want to point out. One, before hype kind of came back around, to be honest, I wasn't playing. I was kind of just I was working out. I was kind of just living my life in a sense. And even when the game came back, I was still doing my stuff, but I would get on and I'd scrim with my team and whatnot. And you could really notice the difference from back when I first was looking for a team back in December, when Barbosa came to me with the idea hey, I want to throw another hype. And back then there weren't really a lot of people around. It was kind of just I know Toy's teammates. They you guys what's it called? Didn't you guys play GB, or your teammates did?
Oh yeah, yeah, they played a lot of GB and they were top 3 most of the time.
Yeah, well, I don't know what Toy did, but when
That's
I
rude.
came back, there really weren't a lot of people around that I knew. It was kind of just I don't want to say randoms, because obviously they're the community that I didn't know was around. And then
I got you.
after hype, I noticed so many people are coming back to play now. Obviously, as you said, Team VXC is coming back. Very old school team. Back from Gears of War 2, they're semi-professional for forever. And then what was the other team that came back? Vision came back. They were at hype too. did all right at Hype 2, and then the team kind of vanished, and they came back. I think right now what we need is to take advantage of this uprise, the revival. I'm not going to say rebirth because I think about like babies.
Yeah, revival. I like revival.
But yeah, like, pretty much what I'm saying is like I see like a gigantic uprising in Gears. So we should just take it and flow with it as long as it goes.
All right, thank you, Chubbs. Yogurt, you're up next.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry guys, I have my mic muted, but yeah, I think right now the way Gears is, it's really it's at a high point, because before Hype, like Chubb said, it wasn't really the community we were used to. Like there wasn't really a lot of top teams or like very known players still showing interest in the game. So I think after Hype, with all these teams coming back, if there is events like you said, Winter Brawl, they want us to come back in August or whatever. If there's that event, then there's another LAN coming up soon. I think the game could definitely make a decent comeback, and we could even bring more players back. And the possibility of having 32 teams at the next event, I think, is very possible.
Awesome. Toy Souls.
So,
Are you done, Yoga? I don't want to interrupt you.
yeah, I'm done.
I'm just gonna clear all the 3 topics we talked about in the show. To begin with, new teams. That's new teams and new team changes. That's awesome because people wanna with the team changes. I think people are willing to put so much effort into playing, and I think that's awesome. With the new teams coming up, better competition, underdogs, I want to see that. And, more and more people coming to this game is just unbelievable. I didn't think, that would happen. And the next topic with the, what was the next topic? Sorry, I'm having a brain fart.
Let me pull it up.
It was, that was the places, right, where the land's happening?
Yep.
How we already cleared it up, just to sum it all up. It's not gonna be West Coast. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. I want to have
Down the line.
Barbosa, Jason. Yeah, it's it's in planning. For those of you that weren't here earlier, and for settings, I think what we said earlier. We should just play it and give feedback, good feedback, pros and cons and all that. And with that being said, we could work off of that, and we could get more maps, or we could lose maps. And then I just think we have a positive wave coming into Gears 3. Even with all the crap Fallout got on Twitter with the settings and whatnot, I just think it's more positivity than positivity than negativity. Sorry about that. I just hope for the best for Gears.
All right.
All right,
That makes it up to me. All right.
Here we go.
Our Australian scene. You guys, you said it earlier. You guys are in your baby steps sort of mode. If you guys are in baby step mode, we're in fetus stage mode. we haven't even been conceived yet, and because we're basically starting from the ground up now. We're doing what you guys did a couple months ago, gaining that interest back and doing from there. I mean, I've personally been asking each and every single person I know, getting recommendations, writing players down, messaging people. I've so far, in the last couple of days that I've been trying to do, I've got over 50 yeses, a handful of nos, and then just a bucket load of people still to ask. And, we're going to lead up doing 1v1s, 2v2s until teams, sort themselves out, then do 4v4s, keep it consistent, keep streams going, and then go from there. But, hopefully, teams sign up and we can do the same thing you guys are doing as well.
It's awesome to hear, man. Super exciting. Seriously. Jason,
Is it my turn? All right.
You want to wrap it up? I think you'd be good to
No,
wrap it up.
I'm not gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna give him 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That's it, Joe. 2 minutes. If he can hear me, whatever he. Okay, Joe, you got 2 minutes. Special guest coming in through the back door. 2 minutes. I think he's gone.
Does this count for the 2 minutes? I mean,
Yeah, this is part of it.
Yeah,
It figures he wouldn't have his test.
Look how badass he looks in his picture though.
I bet you he's not happy right now. We can't hear him. All right, so I'm gonna go till sort it out, Joe. Okay, so for me, state of the community, my biggest letdown is that I couldn't get more prize money because I didn't expect all these teams and all this attention to show up. If you guys want money, you guys want prize money, you guys want bigger interest, you want more sponsors to look, again, everybody needs to be more professional. Now, here's something funny. I see everything on Twitter. You don't think I do. I see everything. I know who everyone is. I have lists upon referrals, upon searches, upon hashtags. Yes, it's my community. I have to see what you guys are doing. Okay? I'm not going to say shit, but I've seen dick. I see people retweeting ass and thongs and like it's just okay, it's your personal Twitter. It's your personal Twitter. That's fine. But don't expect to be taken seriously if you're going to do stuff like that. Okay? And I also am in no way can refer sponsors in our direction like, hey guys, you should look at this wonderful... Okay, never mind. So be more professional. I know if you're part of this community, there's a difference between a public figure and a private figure. You're a public figure if you're playing Gears, and if you're expecting to be on main stage and be interviewed and stuff like that, you're essentially a public figure in the community. Be professional or more professional, carry yourself. Imagine like essentially a sponsorship, and this is me explaining business. A sponsorship is you being a canvas, and that company is going to advertise on your canvas. Like, they want you to be a good person. They want you to be well-spoken. They want people to like you. Because if people do that, then...
Your body must be ready.
Yeah, there you go, Chubbs. Thank you. So, that's only going to come with that professional courtesy. So, do that, please. I want to show sponsors that we're a really nice, tight-knit community. The retweets are amazing. You guys are amazing. Like, hey, guys, say thank you to this sponsor. They tell me they see that. They're like, SharkQ is like, whoa, these guys are awesome. They like a bunch of people bought controllers. Now we have a discount code and stuff like that. So they see it. And if we collectively keep working on that, we're going to get more sponsors. And I can report to them like, hey, look, this sponsor grew and their sales went this high, and now they're sponsoring teams in our community because it's successful and people see what people are doing. So step it up professionally. I do see everything. I think there's good things to come on the way. There's nothing really competitive on the plate right now. So we're going to keep playing Gears until it's just not viable. Let's keep it going. And let me see. I'm going to give Fatal one more shot.
I think he's ready.
One more shot. Come on, Joe.
I think I might have killed him because I pressed the button to accept his video, and that might have killed him. So I'll press
Are we
no.
good?
Okay, we can hear you. Can't see you. You're in a
That's
very
great.
dark room.
You can't see me. You don't need to see me. It's fine. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Hi, Joe.
You got 2 minutes, Joe. You're on the clock. Let's go.
All right, hi guys. All right, so let's get into it. So I guess first thing, I guess the teams, right? So in regards of teams, I think Mavo going to Infinity, losing Flame sucks, but gaining him is going to be awesome because it's going to really help them, bring a new element of strategy. The way that LOX played compared to the way Infinity played was a little bit different. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they play with him. In regards to settings, so we'll just hop right into that. And obviously, good luck to all the other teams. So in regards to settings, we'll just hop into that real quick. I think Gridlock was definitely a great choice, John. The inks not stunning anymore is going to make that map play out a lot different. So I'm really looking forward to see how that map plays out in the future. Almost chalked it on an almond, so we're going to just excuse that. And then on to the next. With Trench's execution, that one, I don't want to judge it too quickly. I just kind of want to see how it plays out. So I'll be looking forward to when I get my stream back up, maybe casting a couple of scrims with that. So that's going to be really interesting. So I'm not going to judge it too harshly because I haven't seen it played yet with those settings. So I'm pretty optimistic. We'll just see how it plays out, And then I think what Barbosa said at the end there about the sponsors is extremely crucial, especially in European scene, all of our scenes actually. We all talk a lot of crap. We all get really passionate in the game. I'm definitely one of those people that does that. But when you're sitting there and you're playing, you want to try to set an example for everybody, especially, the players that have been here for a while. It's important for us to do that. So talking crap in the game is one thing, but also, trying to live by the code of conduct when you stream and everything else is also extremely important. So if it's tough for you, just try to focus, one word on a time on cutting that out of your vocabulary. You know what I mean? But try to do that, because as this grows, bringing new sponsors in, it's extremely important that we give them a good representation of their products, and we do a good job at that. So
Thank you.
Make sure everybody does that. I myself included, obviously, because I do talk a lot of crap. But yeah, other than that, we hit the maps, we hit the settings. The thing is also in regards to settings, I don't know what you guys think of maps, but I feel like if we go the 11 map route, or we ever get that far, it's too much. Only because like the thing is if you're a new team trying to come into the game, obviously teams have a lot more motivation now after seeing how well Notorious played. Congrats, by the way, Toy. Never really say anything, but just gonna give you a little shout out. Yeah, no problem. But I think the thing is like seeing new teams come in and seeing what we saw at Hype gives a lot of teams hope that, if you do put in the hard work, especially during the off season, it will pay off, So now top players that were there before are going to be motivated to play. New players are going to also be motivated to play. And it doesn't matter where you come from, just go to the event and show up. And you never know. Maybe you'll do what Notorious did, which was pretty damn awesome to cast, by the way. Hashtag strikeout.
My man for life.
I got you, bro. And then other than all that, I guess, to wrap it all up real quick, I mean, looking at the future events, definitely building the local scenes is important. I used to live in Cali back in the 08, MLG days, and like the scene out there was really popping then, but now it's just not as big. So growing the local scenes, when be a local tournament here or there, is important. If anybody knows of local tournaments going on, let us know so we can push them out.
I will retweet. I will save it. I'll even make a post.
Oh, the same here. So if you have a tournament going on anywhere, let us know. We'll tweet it out. We'll get it out there so that you guys could get it going. Obviously, I don't think you guys are going to go West Coast, which is why I'm not too worried about it. But keeping it like somewhere between like Midwest and East Coast, or maybe like Midwest, I think is important, because a large amount of our scene is East Coast, and that is because of the local land scene we've had since the beginning. So,
part of the culture.
Growing the local scene in the other areas is extremely important. And hopefully, one day we're big enough so that the Australians can come out here, because I'd love to meet all of them.
Yes.
And then maybe more European teams could be coming out here too. I've known the EU scene for a long time, and they're all amazing people out there. And just seeing all of them clash with the American scene, the Australian scene, would be a great thing to see. But we got to work towards that. That's not something that's going to happen in 2 seconds,
Yep.
So try to be optimistic. Just don't get pissed off too easily. Stay a little calm, cool, collected, boys and girls, and let's just see where it takes us. If you got a problem, if you don't like a map, don't sit there and I'm trying to use the best vocabulary possible, but don't try to bitch and complain 24/7 to John. He's taking on a very tough task. I've done it before, and obviously some of you guys are going to bash him, but if you don't agree with something he says, just give him positive, constructive criticism. Just don't come at him in an immature way, because then it makes getting things done a lot more difficult for all of us. So,
or just talk to me. Like, I'm very open to conversation.
There's a very good reason why Caesar doesn't do this anymore, and it was because of the stress. Like, he was like a father figure of the community, and everyone was like, "But Caesar, but blah, blah, blah." And like they just came at him so hard, and he's like, "Yo, this is not worth it."
Yeah,
and he went to go do his own thing.
Like even when I did the wish list last year, for Epic, like when we did all that work, everybody is always going to have an opinion. Dealing with that opinion. It's about how you deal with the opinion. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people that have come with me with opinions before that I necessarily personally didn't agree with. Then when I sit there with an open mind, I realize, what? That isn't actually such a bad idea if we tweak it this way, or if we do it that way. You know what I mean? So it just make sure that you guys, whatever proposals you have, whatever opinions you have, make sure that you bring them up to Barbosa, to myself, to John, to everybody in a professional manner, so we could take it in a professional way. You know what I mean? And then just make it happen.
All right. Thank you, Fatal. And John, we're going to let you close out. I do want to mention I can do this in a minute because we're not going to discuss it. Maybe we'll discuss this in a further show. But Swedish Ace reminded me to talk about the coaches. Now, a long time ago for like Hype 2, I was actually trying to phase out coaching at events because it's like we're not a big community. There's not a lot of money here still. And having a coach or a dedicated coach is like, first of all, if you have a really good dedicated coach, it's a big advantage. And also it's another expense. It's another person you put in a room. It's another person you feed. It's another person that travels. So in a sense, what we're trying to do is keep the expenses to a minimum, and by not sanctioning official coaches, we were able to like tell everyone like don't expect an official coach at an event because it just lowers the cost of everything, which is what we're trying to do, so you guys can come to events more. And also we let it happen at Hype Winter Brawl because of the headset situation, and we needed more communication, but expect in the future not to have officially sanctioned coaches. Well, maybe we'll discuss it on another show. And now, Fallout, I'm going to give it to you so you can close out the show and take it from there.
I appreciate it. So, a couple thoughts. What we've discussed so far has been beat to pulp, everything in terms of team changes, settings. So, I'm going to kind of leave that away, and I want to end it off. I'm not sure if you guys saw just a small video that I created about why you should come back and start playing Gears of War 3 again. And I really want to end it off by emphasizing that, guys. If you were here, obviously you came back already, but this is more towards your friends that you used to play Gears of War with back in the day. If you're a competitive player, your former teammates that used to play and you haven't heard from them in a couple of years, this is a reason to reach out to them and say, like, look, this is going on, this is the reasoning, and I'm going to start with that. So right now, you're seeing teams Synergy kind of prove themselves as towards the end of like the death of Gears 3. So this not the best example, but Notorious is like the best example ever. Notorious is the best thing that could have happened to Gears of War 3, and I will say that until death. Like the fact that they have this great story. Toy Soldier was a ranked player that started playing competitively less than a year ago. Toy?
The end of Gears 2.
End of Gears 2. Okay, so just 2 years ago, out of nowhere, started playing competitively, and now he just plays second place. And I'm going to say something. This is kind of bold, and I hope it doesn't piss you off, Toy, or anyone Notorious. I respect the hell out of you guys. But back at the prime of Gears of War 3, when there were 32 teams that were invited and showed up to LAN, when everyone was playing, I don't think what Notorious could have done, what Notorious did, would have happened. I don't think they would have come in and gotten second place like they did. I think they would have made noise.
I agree. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize there. I agree with you because the metagame has changed a lot since back then. Just to put that out there.
That is true. No, that's a big piece of it. But another reason is right now, because there aren't as many people playing, it's not as hard to break out. It's not as hard to become one of the best and prove yourself as one of the best. And, it's very possible. Notorious just proved that. So if you put the time in now, if you commit to Gears of War 3 now, what that does, when Gears 4 comes out, Notorious, you have every top team and player on your friends list, right, Toy Soldier?
Yeah.
You're going to start off, you can guarantee, when Gears 4 comes out, Notorious is going to start off scrimming against the best teams. What makes a pro team isn't like natural freak ability that we have. It's the fact that we get to play against the best players in the world every single day for 8 hours a day. That's what makes the best teams the best teams. If Notorious didn't have the opportunity to scrim these best teams, they would be stuck scrimming against amateur players or playing game battles against not as good of players. It'd be much harder to break out. But because they're playing against the best, they're becoming the best, and they proved that. So by playing Gears of War 3 right now, you are investing in your future with the game. And you are investing in being on top right when Gears of War 4 comes out. So that's why everything that we're doing from a community perspective too, we're building a foundation for when Gears 4 comes out, we can do things the right way. We can make sure we don't make the same mistakes we made when Gears of War 3 came out. Gears Up versus Gao Nation versus G-Con and all these mistakes, a lot of mistakes that were made, with Hype Station 1 and 2. We're going to do things right this time around. You can guarantee that. And right now we're laying that foundation. Right now is your opportunity to be a part, to be a top player, and to pretty much concrete yourself in the future for Gears of War. So without further ado, that's all I have. That's all that we have for the show today, guys. Thank you so much for being here and supporting Gears of War and this revival that we have going on. Spread the word. Tell people that you used to play with about the game. Bring them back. I actually personally have to reach out to Get Bronco and some of my old teammates. I haven't talked to them about it yet. So that's my mission. I want you guys to bring 3 or 4 people to the game because next thing you know, we'll have a huge community again.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you everybody for coming tonight. We're going to do this more often. I think we went a little bit, 20 minutes over what I wanted to. I don't want these to be long-winded shows. We want to get right to the point, get it all hashed out. So we're going to try and do this again next week. Schedules and time abiding. We'll keep you guys in touch with our Twitter and stuff just in case we have to switch the time around. And that's going to be it. So thank you, all you gentlemen, all you wonderful gentlemen for coming. We even have Australians. That feels awesome, right? Yeah, so that's it.
Real quick, Jason.
Yeah.
I wanted you to end it, but I just want to say for everyone out there, I don't want this to turn into like Active Reload. Kind of nothing against Active Reload. It was awesome, but the same 5 people on the show over and over again. To the point where it becomes this elitist type thing. I want to be rotating people in and out of this show. So if you guys are interested in being on the show, tweet at me and let me know, guys. We're gonna get different players, different perspectives, different people on every single week to hopefully offer that different perspective, so everyone has a chance to be involved.
That's
May
great.
I add, even though I was part of Active Reload, that I absolutely love that idea because it did get a little too repetitive with the same minds in there all the time. Having a different perspective is extremely important, and I love that. Definitely a good idea.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate it.
We'll work on that. I'm going to train people. Like, I'm going to have a document ready. So if you're going to be on the show, this is how you follow the agenda. We'll train you into being on the show and making a good, structured,
It did
nice,
help out
concise
a
talk
lot.
show. Yeah. So, all right. So now we're going to close it out. Thank you, guys. I'm going to put up a 3-minute ad. Make sure you guys still talk during the 3-minute ad. And that's it.
Beers Bros!
Take it easy.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
Thanks for coming on. Yep, thank you.
Yep.
That is so creepy.
I'm just going to close that out. Oh, no! You guys can see my screen. I got to get out.